Excellent. Here we are, part two. This is our analysis of literature introduction video. So we are just jumping into the Theta level tools here. So we're going to start by talking about themes. So themes, these are kind of the big picture ideas. Often we'll be looking for connections within different poems or within a period of poetry writing. So let's jump through these here. So there are a number of common themes that are expressed in literature. Obviously, war is a big one, loss, the beauty of nature is a common theme, the power of divine forces, good versus evil is classic, humanity's mortality is another one, striving for creativity is another one, and kind of this idea of the muse. Maybe that's a good way to add to this or clarify this idea. The muse, poets talk about having inspiration from their muse, and this is something that's really common in poems. Reaching for potential or not, and the list goes on, and we will actually probably take some time to develop this list a little bit more deeply during class time. Okay, so then we can also talk about mythology in literature. Quite often writers are influenced by different ideas that came before them, and in particular, if you talk about the Romantics in English literature, all of the Romantic poets themselves studied mythology in their youthful education. So we see these ideas coming into their poetry. So Greek myths, Roman myths are influential. But if you look around the world to other areas, you have other influential pieces of mythology that might be injected into poetry writing or story writing. So this is really important for us to consider. So what are the mythological ideas that we can see bleeding into the work? If you notice them, it's powerful to analyze them. And so then I've also made a note here that the same holds true to biblical references and even pop culture references. These are kind of preceding sources or background ideas that impact the writer. Okay, finally, we're going to talk about carpe diem. So I already talked about this a little bit in the first lecture, the first half of this lesson. Basically, this is a Latin term, and I do like to introduce a few very common and powerful Latin terms throughout the course of my literature classes. Carpe diem is the first of them. It literally translates into seize the day. And this concept comes into a lot of poetry. It's looking at the beauty of the moment, essentially. And so it's tied to how finite the nature of life is, or how finite beautiful moments are within life. So poets see beauty in life, and they want to try to capture and crystallize this beauty within their imagery, within the lines of their poem. Thus, they're often kind of imploring their readers to live in the moment and to kind of drink down or suck down the marrow of life. And this is the carpe diem concept. So we will actually, you can refer to carpe diem as a